Whoa, I made it. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's up, rude noise? How you doing? Hey, Wing Chun. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year's. Happy everything to you guys. How's it going? Yeah, I didn't have time to schedule the stream. I was doing some shopping. I'm glad I got back in time. How you guys doing? How's your holidays? What's up, Sunnyside? Merry Christmas to you. How you doing? You guys getting together with friends or family for Christmas? I'm gonna have a little Christmas party with my family. That should be fun. What's up, Losh? How's it going? It's kind of warm today. Which, I'm surprised that it should be cold. But it was like 70 today at noon or something. My God. I think now is lower. Now it should be at like 65 or something. Yeah. Merry Christmas. What's up, Malik? How are you doing? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Your job is to make the trifle for Christmas lunch. Cool. That sounds delicious. What is going to be on your trifle? What's up, Malik? Merry Christmas to you too. Yay. Should I have a Christmas song playing in the background? Probably not. Alright. Since it's Christmas, I should reward myself by doing Wordle super duper fast. Hold on. Nope, not that screen. All right. Oh. Oh. Is it sauce? No, no E. Is it sour? Sour? Sauna. Sauna. What? Damn. That was like 10 seconds. Rewardle? I like that. Extra sherry. Ooh. You might put brandy in the ice cream? Hell yeah, that sounds delicious. All right. Man, the stores were hella packed today. Everyone is doing their last minute Christmas shopping. Oh man. I have a big mall near me and it was packed. So many people. So many people. So many kids running around. Wait, why am I doing Semantle? No. Connections. What? Okay, connection is being weird today. What is this? Boat, U, bowl, M, thou, crew, V, U, 8, U, scoop, glue, Tuesday, K, grand, U. Is it, they all rhyme? Or just this rhymes? Is this too obvious? I feel like this is right though. Okay. I don't think they're all like that though. Oh. V, K, M, 8, thou, crew. A cruise on a boat? No. Tuesday K, grand M, grand 8. 8K. What? Well, it rhymes. Crew, glue, V, grand, Tuesday. Nope. Thou? Thou? Thou. Oh no. This is not going well. Boat, bowl, scoop. You can scoop in a bowl while you eat glue and you have a grand old time. Grand old time eating glue. Tuesday, 8. Tuesday, K. What? What? Grand. A K is a grand, 1,000. But then M is a million or a milli. Small scoop. What? Crew, thou. Tuesday. What's significant about Tuesday? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is the third day of the week. There's V8. That's a drink. V8. A grand is K. M? This can't be right? This can't be the category. Nah. Crew neck? V neck? K neck? M neck? Is there a bowl neck shirt? A scoop neck? Oh, I thought I had something there. Crew neck t-shirt, V neck. Grand K neck, 8 neck. Bowl scoop. A bowl. Super Bowl. Super K. Super 8. Super M? Am I just making these up? Super Tuesday. Super 8, Super K. Is Super K, Super Crew, Super Thou, Super V? Super Boat. Super Glue! Super Bowl, Super 8. Oh my god! Oh my god. Okay. I feel like scoop. M is a medium, like a medium-sized t-shirt. V-neck, crew neck. Scoop. Grand M. Grand K. Grand. Gran. I got the hardest one. But now I can't do it. I can't lose now. Crew? A boat is... Oh, a boat has a crew. It has a grand. A K has an M. M boat? Motorboat? Boat sickness? U-boat. U-boat. V-boat. Boat. A thou. Thou. 1,000. A thou. 1,000. Grand. K. Milli. M. 1,000th. All right. Ah! Thou. Oh shit. What is this? Oh, there is a scoop t-shirt. God damn it. I knew that. What is boat? Hold on. Scoop shirt. Oh, that's a scoop. Okay. What is a boat shirt? That is not a boat shirt. That's just shirts of boats. Boat t-shirt? Boat neckline. Boat neck. I'm not a woman. How am I supposed to know? Okay. That was pretty good. That wasn't bad. All right. Neck. Shirt. Old. Boat neck. Boat. Neck. Leg. Buy. Christmas. Cheer. Drink. Eat. Food. Wine. Water. Steak. Dinner. Lunch. Party. Drunk. Sizzle. Holiday. No. Drinking. Drunk. Bar. Stool. Chair? No. Table. Drink. How about a wedding? How about a man? Woman. Drink. Coke. When? Where? Why? How? Who? Drink. West. Freak. Drink. Stool. Drink. Water. How about a glass? How about dish? Oh, plate. Dishwasher. Wash. A dish. A glass. We got a utensil. We got a fork. Spoon. Oh, spoon. How about a ladle? How about a pot? Pan. Spork. Spoon. Kitchen. Spoon. Dish. Plate. How about a bowl? How about a container? Okay, okay. Spoon. Pick. Swallow. Dessert. Dessert's pretty high. A dish, dessert, a recipe. Okay, okay. Uh, Tool. Spoon. A dropper. A thermometer. Spoon. You can eat. Eating. How about some chopsticks? How about a knife? How about a machete? Machete? Feed? Chew. Soup. Oven. Wait, we did steak. Spoon. Measure. Measuring. Oh, cup. Measuring. Length. Liter. Tablespoon. Teaspoon. Tea. We got teaspoon, spoon, measuring cup. Measuring cup. Liquid. Oh, what is it? Which? Liquid. Oil. Gas. Stove. Measuring instrument. What do you measure? You measure temperature. Moisture. Volume. Size. We got size, length. We got weight. We got, I don't know, brightness. What else do you measure? Weather. Wind. A barometer. Heat. Warmth. No. Cup. Then we tried cup. Tried bowl, container, measuring things. Thing. Beer. Wine. Oh no. Family. Measuring, spoon, teaspoon, dish. What do you... Light? Lamp? Right? Pen? What else you measure? Battery. Life. You measure your worth. Measuring cup. Measuring cup. Measuring spoon. Gauge. Like gauging something. Estimate. Guess. Meter. Metric. Pound. Tape. Measuring tape. Pound. Noise. Microphone. Oh no. How long is this gonna take? Measuring, what do you measure? Water, oil, Unit. Ooh. Maybe a flour. Ounce. Fruit. Vegetables. How about ingredient? Salt. Sugar. Distance. Formula. Ooh. Equation. Cook. You can measure skill. You can share it. How come typos are allowed? Share. Sour. Milk. Sugar. Oh, condiments. Ketchup. Oof. Gagging? You mean gauging? Gagging? What the hell is gauging? Is that how you spell gauging? It's not like gauging? Oh. Really? It looks so weird. I guess that's how you spell gauging? Gay. How else would you spell it? Okay. Gauging. Oh, that's how you spell gauging. What the hell is this? Weighing. Weigh. Balance. Scale. Mass. Force. Acceleration. Acceleration. Guys. Measuring, gauging, spoon. Metal. Collide. Oh no. Measure. Exact. Proportion. Proportion. Hello. Proportional. Compare. Contrast. Proportion. Enlarge. Resize. Shrink. Level. Ooh, level's good. Measuring. Size. Sizing. Oof. Oof. Subsiduct. Sigh. Breach. Proportion. Measuring. Estimating. We did estimate, right? Luckily, Semantle exists because YouTube's always on time with notifications. No, I didn't schedule the stream until like 6:03. Okay. That was on me. Level diet. Measuring. Measuring weight. We did that, right? Body. Index. Hair. Comb. Hmm. Cheeks. Measuring cheeks, nose. Okay, I think we're going further away. Measuring cup, measure. Tea, bag. Hmm. Consult, consultation. Oof. Okay, this is hard. We're measuring proportion. Notify. Proportionality. Proportionality. Ratio is a good one. Ooh. What about a resolution? Resolution. We had compare. We had scale, resize. What else? Intersect. Point. Line. Bisect. I did lose audio. Thanks. So we tried ounce, gram. What else is there? We had pound. I think we had it right. Yeah. Metric. We tried English. Imperial. How many grams? Quarts, liters. Quarter, half, decimal, gram, fourth, small, bit, tiny, piece, whole. Dot. Gram. Heavy. Light. Sauce. What? What else is there? Gram? Grandma? Density. Oh, really? Scale we tried. G, like G forces. Millimeter? Milliliters? Oh, milliliter. What the? Liter was hella low, right? Milliliter. Okay. Milligram. Deciliter. What? Kiloliter. Oh. Small. Microliter. What? Micrometer. Hmm. So kilometer. Stop. Kilometer? So it's something small, I think. Gram, milligram, microgram. We tried kilogram. Nanogram. What? Nanometer. Nanotechnology. Technology. Nano. Milli. Micro. Portion. Okay. We got milliliter. We got nanogram. Nanogram, milliliter, gram. Nanogram. Nanoliter. 40! What? Wait. Nano. Small. Small, tiny. Microscopic. Microscope. Electron microscope. Electron. Something very small. What's another word for very small? Tiny. Little. Bit. Tiny. Little. Mass, we tried. Minute. Oh. Nanosecond. Microsecond. What? Nanoliter is pretty high, even though it's tepid. Milliliter, nanogram. Milliliter, nanogram. Nanoliter. Science. Measure. Measure. Beaker. Beaker. Hey. Burner, like a Bunsen burner. Bunsen. Liquid, we tried. Beaker, maybe it's some chemistry thing. Chemistry? Chemical? Downcase. Chemical? How about a test? Whoa! Experiment! Testing. Test. Exam. The hypothesis. Conclusion. Teaspoon, we tried. Testes? No. Tests. Exams. Test. Experiment. Taste. It's an experiment, right? A test. What's another word for test? Research. Report. Abstract. Hypothesis, I think we tried. Did we not? Yep. Hypothesis, a test. We can do a test. We should do some testing. We should create a test. A trial. Damn it. A clinical trial. A study. An article, paper, a thesis, a sample. Up! So good, Psyduck. A sample. Jesus Christ. What are the next nearest words? Good job. Sampling, sampled, samplings. What is this? Aliquot. Sampler. Specimen. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Good job. Not bad. Now. thinking taste test. Okay. Yeah. Guess what? I'm gonna do some taste testing now. Bam! It says Hokkaido Milk Danish. Yeah. That sounds delightful. Let's see. Okay. Oh my god. That's huge. It's gonna be good. Is it filled? Do you think it's filled with anything? Nope. Pretty good. A little bit sweet. Yeah. Bread is nice. This is normal though. 6.2. 6.2. Yeah. It's like a lot of sweet bread. What's up, sunny side? I won't need dinner tonight. I'll just calm down there. All right. This says Choco Pie. Okay. It's from Halloween. I think it's going to be good. This has got to be at least a 7, right? It has to be. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this delicious looking thing. Oh, I'm going to bite into this so much. Mmm. Yeah, I can dig it. Like a little chocolatey. Got some cake thing inside. Hmm. Hmm. It's like a 7.3. Oh my god, Psyduck got it right. Jesus Christ. How did you know? Get out of my head. Okay, that wasn't bad actually. 7.3 is solid. All right, one last one. It says salty butter cookie. Okay. All 3 things that I like. All right, I think this might be good. With camembert cheese and flavored cream. Okay. You fancy, sir. Look, has a cute little picture in the front. Some cheeses. All right. It's gonna be funky. Oh, okay. Look at that. A little sandwich. I bet I can eat the entire thing. Okay, let's see how cheesy this is gonna be. It's salty, butter, and cheesy. Mmm. You are cheesy, sir. Mmm. Quite buttery. I can taste the cheese. Mmm. A little sweet. Not salty at all. Oh, it's actually pretty good. That cheese is like pretty good. There's a little hint of the cheesy flavor, and then it's very buttery. Yeah, and it's a little bit sweet. I like it. That's like a solid 8.0. Hmm. Okay, cool. Yay. That's a good haul today. All right, you know what else I'm gonna do? Since it's Christmas, a viewer sent me this. I figure I'd open it. What is it? What is it? What? I'm just kidding. I know it's a book. But what book? Alright, let's open it up. Shall we? I hope I don't cut it. That would not be good. See here. Okay. I need you again. Alright. It is a book. Happy to report. I hope it's an appropriate book. I hope it's not inappropriate. Alright, hold on. Ooh, the cover is like velvety. A little velvety texture. I like that. An Edo anthology. Literature from Japan's mega city, 1750 to 1850. Looks like it's a translation of writings from the Edo period. Hell yeah, from Japanese literature. Hell yeah. All right. It also came with a little note. It says, thanks for all the work you put into your videos. Ha! Well, you're welcome. That's pretty cool. Okay, what writings are there? Oh, it's got a section on playboys, prostitutes, and lovers. Hell yeah. Oh, we're gonna have it's translations of love letters. Huh, huh, huh. That's awesome. That's that section. It's also got a section for ghosts, monsters, and deities. Okay, letters about that. And a bunch of different things. Heroes, rogues, and fools, city folk, country folk, artists and poets. Okay. All right, cool. I like. That sounds really cool. Yeah. I'm gonna devour that first section right away. The prostitutes section. I think those love letters would be really interesting. Might even be a video about it. All right. Are we ready? Are we good? How long did that Semantle take? Oh, quite a bit. All right, you ready? What happened last week? So, last week, Guojing, he's forced to write down the 9 yin manual for Oh Young Feng. Okay, but he changes words here and there. Um, Meanwhile, Hong Qigong, he feels that his disciple Guo Jing is taking kind of long. He goes to investigate, but he just sees Guo Jing still writing. So he's like, okay, Guo Jing is fine. So he sneaks into a storeroom to steal some food and wine. They're on the boat, remember? But while there, he overhears Ouyang Feng and Ouyang Ke discussing plans to burn the boat and kill everyone on board while they escape. So Hong Qigong, after he hears this, he goes to Guo Jing and he tells him everything, and they sneak onto this dinghy to escape. Okay, but just then, it just so happens that Huang Rong arrives to save Guo Jing, but she doesn't know that he's already off the ship. So she jumps onto the ship. Okay, while Hong Qigong and Guo Jing are already on the dinghy, and then the ship starts burning because Ouyang Feng burned it. Hong Qigong couldn't let Huang Rong die, so he jumps back onto the ship and he fights with Ouyang Feng. Okay. Meanwhile, the ship that she came on, the crew of that ship, they're like, we don't want to deal with this, so they just fucked off. So while they're fighting, Ouyang Ke, he jumps onto the dinghy, holding onto Huang Rong as a hostage. Hong Qigong's clothes are wet. Okay, so he kind of gains an advantage in the fire. Because the fire is more distracting to Ouyang Feng, who is dry. Okay. But Hong Qigong, he's fighting, and he does gain the advantage, and he almost is able to kill him. But then Hong Qigong decides to spare him because he's kind of curious to see what happens when Ouyang Feng practices that fake 9 yin manual. So he lets him live. While this is going on, Guo Jing is watching the fight from below. And that's where we left off. How's that? All right. This is chapter 21, part 1. The Titanic struggle. Wait, is that intentional? What's up, Christina? Nice of you to join. All right. Ouyang Feng felt the scorching heat on his body and the violent... Wait, hold on. Let's... Yeah. Bigger? No, too big. Interesting title timing. We were talking about Titanic. Happy to make it live this week? Yeah. Awesome. And Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to you. All right. So Ouyang Feng felt the scorching heat on his body and the violent vibrations underfoot as the burning ship began its inevitable descent into the sea. Hong Qigong, however, continued the fierce combat, showing no sign of relenting. Knowing his life was in imminent danger unless he unleashed a decisive move, Ouyang Feng abruptly withdrew his snake staff and swept his left arm in a fierce strike. Hong Qigong pursued the snake staff with his bamboo stick and intercepted Ouyang Feng's arm with his left hand. Suddenly, Ouyang Feng's arm bent unnaturally. Oh, he knows the snake arm thing too. And his fist shot towards Hong Qigong's right temple like a striking serpent. This spirit snake fist was a technique Ouyang Feng had painstakingly perfected over years. He had intended to unveil it during the second Huashan competition to utterly dominate the other masters. Even during his 1,000-move sparring match with Hong Qigong on Peach Blossom Island, he had withheld this art, which mimicked the fluid and unpredictable movements of a snake. He hasn't unveiled it, but then he taught it to Ouyang Ke, who already unveiled it to everyone. Maybe not to Hong Qigong. The technique's core lay in making the arms seem boneless, capable of bending and striking from inconceivable angles. Opponents often thought they had successfully deflected a strike, only to be caught off guard by a sudden attack from an unforeseen direction. At such a critical moment, this unexpected move should have overwhelmed Hong Qigong. Even if it did not injure him, it would have at least left him flustered. You think Hong Qigong was there when Ke first used it? Oh, okay. So he knows! However, Ouyang Ke had I just said it. However, Ouyang Ke had already used a similar move during his encounter with Guo Jing in Baoying. Although victorious, Ouyang Ke's display had allowed Hong Qigong to discern its intricacies. That day, Hong Qigong skipped the feast hosted by Li Sheng and the other beggar clan members, opting instead to devise a counter. He's been thinking of a counter to that for a while now. Okay. Over several days and nights, he refined a technique to neutralize the spirit snake fist. Now, seeing Ouyang Feng finally use it, Hong Qigong was secretly delighted. With a deft wrist twist and a claw-like grab, he seized Ouyang Feng's fist. The move was executed with perfect timing, precision, and speed. A brilliant counter honed specifically for this technique. He got him. Ouyang Feng had expected Hong Qigong to panic and flounder, creating an opening for a lethal attack. Instead, he found himself taken aback. He stumbled back several steps, stunned. At that moment, a blazing sheet of canvas descended from the sky, enveloping him entirely. Hong Qigong leaped back, equally startled, and saw that the falling object was a large burning sail. Oh, he's saved by the sail. With Ouyang Feng's martial prowess, even a sail descending at double the speed could not have trapped him. However, his shock at seeing this meticulously honed spirit snake fist casually neutralized left him momentarily dazed. The sail, massive and sturdy, was attached to a horizontal spar and weighed several hundred pounds. Despite leaping twice, Ouyang Feng could not escape its crushing weight. Although he remained composed, he could not free his snake staff, which was pinned beneath the spar. Realizing the dire situation, he sighed. "This is it. My time has come." Suddenly, the weight lifted from his body. The sail was being pulled away. To his astonishment, Hong Qigong had grabbed the ship's iron anchor and hooked the spar, dragging the sail aside. He saved him again? Despite their battle, Hong Qigong could not bear to see Ouyang Feng burned alive and intervened to save him. By then, Ouyang Feng's clothes, beard, and hair were aflame. He immediately rolled onto the deck to extinguish the fire. Just as he thought the worst had passed, the ship tilted abruptly, sending a massive red-hot iron chain flying towards him with terrifying force. Hong Qigong shouted, "Watch out!" and leaped to grab the chain. However, the chain had been heated to a glowing red by the fire. The searing heat burned his hand, producing a sickening sizzle as his flesh was scorched. He quickly threw the chain into the sea and was about to leap off the ship when he felt a sharp sting at the back of his neck. For a moment, he froze, and a thought flashing through his mind. I saved his life, but could Ouyang Feng have struck me with his snake staff? Turning around, he saw the snake staff sweep past, with one of its venomous snakes dripping blood from its fangs, writhing menacingly. Wah! He snuck attack him, even after being saved twice. I knew I didn't like this guy. Overcome with rage, Hong Qigong roared and unleashed two ferocious palm strikes at Ouyang Feng. The power of his blows shattered a secondary mast on the ship. Ouyang Feng, pleased with his successful ambush, nonetheless felt a twinge of fear as he watched Hong Qigong lash out with unrestrained fury. He avoided engaging directly, opting instead to evade and retreat. Guo Jing shouted, "Master! Master!" as he scrambled aboard the sinking ship. Hong Qigong suddenly felt a wave of dizziness and staggered. Seizing the opportunity, Ouyang Feng stepped forward and delivered a powerful palm strike to his back. The venom from Ouyang Feng's snake staff was typically fatal. However, the poison sacs had been drained days earlier during his bet with Zhou Botong, when he used the venom to kill the sharks. This meant the snake's venom had not yet replenished, significantly weakening its potency. Even so, the residual venom was still dangerous. Despite Hong Qigong's profound internal strength, the poison muddled his senses, leaving him defenseless against Ouyang Feng's strike. As the blow landed squarely on his back, Hong Qigong spat blood and collapsed onto the deck. Oh no. Hong Qigong's extraordinary martial skills meant Ouyang Feng knew that even a decisive strike might not end his life. Should Hong Qigong recover, the repercussions would be endless. With this in mind, he resolved, "If I show mercy now, I'll regret it later." He leapt forward and aimed a crushing kick at Hong Qigong's back. Guojing had just climbed onto the deck from the small boat. Seeing the imminent danger, he acted without hesitation, launching both palms in a move called Twin Dragons Fetching Water, aimed at Ouyang Feng's lower back. Though Ouyang Feng knew Guojing was no pushover, he did not regard him as a significant threat. He casually used his left hand to block Guojing's attack, while countering with a strike towards his shoulder. His right foot continued its deadly trajectory towards Hong Qigong. Panicking, Guojing disregarded his own safety. He leapt forward and wrapped his arms around Ouyang Feng's neck. This reckless move left his own defenses wide open, and with a resounding impact, Ouyang Feng's counter-strike hit him under the ribs. Though the strike wasn't delivered with full force, Ouyang Feng's attacks carried deadly precision. If not for Guojing's robust internal energy foundation, the blow would have been life-threatening. As it was, he felt excruciating pain, with half his body nearly paralyzed. Even so, he tightened his grip on Ouyang Feng's neck. Ouyang Feng had expected Guojing to retreat after taking the blow, but this foolish youth was willing to endure great injury to counterattack. Forced to pull back the kick intended for Hong Qigong, Ouyang Feng twisted and struck backwards to break free. Close combat nullified much of Ouyang Feng's martial advantage. Techniques like the toad stance and spirit snake fist required space to execute effectively. For martial artists of their caliber, allowing an opponent to close in was tantamount to a loss. As Ouyang Feng struggled to regain control, Guojing employed Mongolian wrestling techniques. Oh, came in useful. His left hand slipped under Ouyang Feng's armpit, grabbing the back of his neck in a fierce move known as camel neck snap. Whoa. That's the this move. While Ouyang Feng's internal strength prevented catastrophic injury, the technique caused him significant discomfort. In desperation, he struck backwards with his right hand, forcing Guojing to shift his grip. Guojing followed up with Breaking Mountain Twist, a wrestling move designed to leave the opponent with no escape. Both hands locked around Ouyang Feng's neck, applying tremendous pressure. Even a master like Ouyang Feng found himself in a precarious position. If Guojing applied full force, it could break his neck. However, Ouyang Feng's martial prowess surpassed that of any Mongolian wrestler. Despite the seemingly dire circumstances, he managed to find an escape. Using his superior agility, he twisted his head downward and somersaulted between Guojing's legs, emerging behind him. For a martial artist of his stature, passing beneath an opponent's legs was deeply humiliating and unthinkable unless absolutely necessary. Freed from the hold, he immediately launched a counterattack, striking at Guojing's back. Before the blow landed, Guojing once again seized Ouyang Feng's arm. Aware of his limitations, Guojing relied on his wrestling skills and sheer tenacity to keep Ouyang Feng engaged in a grappling match. As long as he could prevent Ouyang Feng from retreating, he could protect his master. By now, the broken ship was teetering violently. The deck tilted precariously, making it impossible for either combatant to maintain footing. Both fell, rolling across the flaming surface, their clothes catching fire in the chaos. From her position, Hongrong was beside herself with anxiety. Hong Qigong was hanging limply over the side of the ship, his condition unknown. Guo Jing and Ouyang Feng were locked in a fiery struggle, their bodies ablaze. Desperate, she swung her oar at Ouyang Ke, aiming to incapacitate him. Though his right arm was broken, Ouyang Ke's martial skills remained formidable. He dodged the strike and reached out to grab Hongrong's wrist. Anticipating this, Hongrong stopped forcefully, tipping the small boat. Ouyang Ke, unable to swim, wobbled precariously before retreating in fear of falling into the water. Seizing the opportunity, Hongrong leaped from the boat into the sea and swam to the burning ship. She climbed aboard, her steel eyebrow darts in hand, and charged towards the entangled fighters. Guo Jing was pinned beneath Ouyang Feng, who was trying to break free. Despite his disadvantage, Guo Jing clung tightly to Ouyang Feng's arms, rendering him unable to strike effectively. Hongrong navigated the smoke and flames, thrusting her steel dart towards Ouyang Feng's back. Although consumed by the struggle, Ouyang Feng sensed the imminent danger. At the last moment, he shifted, placing Guo Jing between himself and Hongrong's weapon. Unfazed, Hongrong bent low and aimed for his head. Despite her relentless attacks, Ouyang Feng's uncanny agility allowed him to evade her strikes. Finally, one dart embedded itself in the burning deck with a loud thunk. A gust of black smoke blinded Hongrong, and as she raised her hand to rub her eyes, she felt a sharp pain in her leg. Man, this Ouyang Feng is just landing blows on everyone. Ouyang Feng had kicked her with his heel, sending her sprawling. Rolling to extinguish the flames on her hair, she prepared to rejoin the fray. Guo Jing shouted, "Save Master first! Save Master!" Realizing the urgency, Hongrong abandoned the fight and rushed to Hong Qigong. Wrapping her arms around him, she leapt into the sea. The flames on their bodies were immediately extinguished. Hongrong carried Hong Qigong on her back and paddled towards the small boat. Ouyang Ke stood by the boat, raising a wooden oar and shouting, "Leave the old beggar behind! Only you are allowed to board!" Hongrong raised her steel dart and retorted, "Fine, let's settle this in the water." She grabbed the edge of the boat and shook it vigorously. The small boat swayed wildly, threatening to capsize. Ouyang Ke panicked, clutching the gunwale tightly and shouting, "Stop! Stop shaking it! You'll overturn the boat!" Hongrong smirked. "Pull my master aboard, and don't try anything funny. If you do, I'll dunk you in the water for 3 hours." Left with no choice, Ouyang Ke reached out with his left hand, grabbed Hong Qigong by the back, and hauled him into the boat. Hongrong smiled approvingly. "Since I've known you, this is the first decent thing I've seen you do." Ouyang Ke's heart skipped a beat. Really? But when he tried to speak, no words came out. Hongrong turned to swim back to the larger ship to assist in the fight, but suddenly heard a thunderous roar, like a mountain collapsing. A massive wall of water rose and crashed down onto her. Startled, she instinctively held her breath and ducked underwater. When the seawater settled, she emerged, brushed her soaked hair back, and froze in shock. The sea now churned with a massive whirlpool, but the smoking, flaming half-ship was gone, along with the figures of Guo Jing and Ouyang Feng, who had been fighting on board. In that moment, her mind went blank. No thoughts, no emotions, as if the entire world, including her own existence, had vanished into nothingness. Suddenly, a rush of salty water filled her mouth, jolting her back to reality. She realized she was sinking. Kicking hard, she surfaced and looked around. Apart from the small boat, there was nothing. No ship, no people, only the vast sea stretching endlessly. Diving underwater again, Hongrong swam towards the whirlpool. Her swimming skills were extraordinary, and though the whirlpool was strong, she could maneuver with the current. She searched desperately for Guo Jing, swimming in circles around the area. She found no trace of him or Ouyang Feng. It seemed both had been dragged to the ocean's depths along with the sunken ship. Cue, my heart will go on. Oh no, we're gonna get the scene. Even as exhaustion set in, she refused to give up. Don't give up, Hongrong. She swam aimlessly through the waves, praying for a miracle that might lead her to Guojing. But all she saw were towering whitecaps, no signs of life. After another half hour, Jesus, of relentless searching, her strength gave out. She decided to rest briefly on the boat before diving back into the water. When she approached the boat, Ouyangke reached out and helped her aboard. He too was distraught, repeatedly asking, "Did you see my uncle? Have you seen my uncle?" Completely drained, Hongrong blacked out without answering. It was unclear how much time passed before she regained consciousness. She felt light and unsteady, as if floating among clouds, while the sound of wind and crashing waves roared around her. Sitting up, she realized the small boat was drifting swiftly with the current. The sight of the shipwreck was far behind, and any hope of finding Guojing was gone. Grief overwhelmed her, and she fainted again. Well, guys, looks like he died. Sorry, guys. The story is now going to be about Hongrong and Ouyangke. Ouyangke gripped the side of the boat tightly with his left hand, bracing his legs against the floor to keep from being thrown overboard by the swaying craft. He dared not move. After some time, roughly the span of a meal, Hongrong woke again. Her mind was filled with despair. If Brother Jing is lost to the sea, what is the point of living? When her gaze fell on Ouyangke, here we go. This is how their romance starts. Now Ouyangke is the main character. The only thing worse than Guojing dying? Yeah. Oh no. His trembling lips and pale, frightened face filled her with disgust. I can't die with this wretch, she thought. Standing up, she barked, "Jump into the sea!" Ouyangke was stunned. What did you say? Didn't hear me. Fine, I'll tip the boat myself. With that, Hongrong leapt to the right side of the boat. The small craft tilted sharply. She immediately jumped to the left, causing it to lurch even more precariously. Hearing Ouyangke shouting in fright, "Ah!" Hongrong felt a faint sense of satisfaction amid her grief. She leapt to the right side of the boat again. Ouyangke realized that if she continued to jump from side to side, the small boat would inevitably capsize. Seeing her jump to the right again, he quickly leapt to the left. His timing was impeccable, and as they both landed, the boat merely dipped without tipping. No, he's pretty good. Hongrong tried twice more, but each time Ouyangke countered her moves with the same method. Hongrong shouted, "Fine! I'll drill some holes in the bottom of the boat and see how you'd handle that." She drew her steel dart and leapt to the center of the boat. Her gaze fell upon Hong Qigong lying face down at the bottom of the boat. Realizing she had been so consumed with thoughts of Guojing that she had completely forgotten her master, she hurriedly bent down to check his breathing. It was faint, but still there. Relieved, she helped Hong Qigong up and saw that his eyes were closed and his face as pale as paper. She placed her hand on his chest and found his heartbeat was weak but present. Desperate to save her master, Hongrong ignored Ouyangke and loosened Hong Qigong's clothing to examine his injuries. Suddenly, the boat rocked violently. Ouyangke exclaimed in delight, "We've hit land! We've hit land!" Hongrong looked up to see a lush, forested shore in the distance. The boat had run aground on a reef. The spot was still far from the shore, but the water was shallow, only chest deep. Okay, what do you think? Are they on an island? Or are they on mainland? Ouyangke jumped into the water and waded a few steps before turning back to glance at Hongrong. Then he returned to the boat. Hongrong inspected Hong Qigong's injuries. On his back, near his right shoulder blade, was a deep black palm print. Damn. As if branded with a hot iron. She was alarmed. How could the Western Venoms' palm strike be so devastating? She also noticed 2 small bite marks on the back of his neck. They were so faint they were almost unnoticeable, but when she pressed lightly on them, a burning sensation radiated from the wounds, forcing her to withdraw her hand quickly. Master, how are you feeling? Hongrong asked urgently. Hong Qigong groaned softly, but did not reply. Hongrong turned to Ouyangke. Give me the antidote. Ouyangke spread his hands helplessly. The antidote is with my uncle, he said. I don't believe you, Hongrong retorted. Search me then, Ouyangke replied, undoing his sash and placing all his belongings in his left hand. Hongrong saw no medicine bottles and said, Help me carry my master to shore. Each of them supported one of Hong Qigong's arms over their shoulders. Hongrong grabbed Ouyangke's left hand with her right, letting Hong Qigong rest on their intertwined arms as they waded towards the shore. She could feel her master's body trembling, and her heart filled with worry. Ouyangke, on the other hand, was secretly overjoyed. The sensation of her soft, warm hand holding his... The sensation of her soft, warm hand holding his was a dream come true for him, though the shore arrived all too quickly for his liking. Hongrong crouched down and carefully laid Hong Qigong on the ground. Pull the boat onto the shore before the tide takes it away, she commanded. Ouyangke, lost in thought and still savoring the feeling of her touch, didn't register her words. When Hongrong shouted at him again, he snapped out of his daze and pulled the boat ashore. Returning, he saw Hongrong had turned Hong Qigong over onto his stomach on the grass to tend to his injuries. Where are we? He wondered. Climbing a small hill, he looked around and was both alarmed and delighted. Uh-oh, is it an island? The small island was surrounded by the vast ocean in every direction, thick with trees but offering no sign of habitation. This is where they fall in love. His fears arose from the possibility that it was an uninhabited island with no food or shelter, leaving survival in question. But his joy came from the thought that fate had brought him and this ethereal beauty to such a secluded place. With Hong Qigong severely injured, surely his wishes would soon come true. Who's a bigger simp, Ouyangke or Mu Nianzi? Definitely Mu Nianzi. She's a champion in that respect. How deluded is this guy? Surely his wishes would soon come true. To live here with her is paradise itself. Even if I were to die here tomorrow, it would be worth it, he thought. Overcome with elation, he began to dance, only to cry out in pain as his broken arm reminded him of its state. Using his left hand, he broke 2 branches, tied them to his arm with strips torn from his clothing, and fashioned a makeshift sling. How the hell did he tie 2 branches to his arm using one hand? He's so good. Hongrong, meanwhile, had managed to squeeze a significant amount of venom from the snake bite on her master's back, but didn't know how to proceed. She moved him to a large rock for rest. Go see what kind of place this is, she called to Ouyangke. See if there are any homes or inns nearby. Ouyangke laughed. This is an island in the sea. There's definitely no inn, and whether or not there are people, well, That depends on our luck. He can bend his arm like a snake, no? How do you tie it? How do you tie it that tightly to make a what do you call that? A stint? Do you call that a stint? What do you call it? It's more impressive that his arm was even broken in the first place. True. How do you break a snake arm? Yeah, he's definitely Orochimaru, right? Maybe Orochimaru's nephew. Hongrong was slightly startled and said, "Go take a look." Oyonku was more than happy to oblige her request, eagerly using his lightfoot skills to dash off to the east. He found nothing but wild trees and thorns, with no signs of human activity. Oh no. Along the way, he killed 2 wild rabbits with stones and then turned north, making a wide loop before returning. It's a deserted island, he reported to Hongrong. Snakes still have bones that can break? Oh, okay. Seeing a faint smile on his lips, Hongrong was annoyed. A deserted island? What's so funny about that? She snapped. Oyonku stuck out his tongue and dared not speak further. He skinned the rabbits and handed them to her. Damn! With one arm, guys. Hongrong retrieved her fire-starting tools from her pocket. Luckily, the tinder was wrapped in oil paper. But tinder isn't going to work on this island. There's no one here. Leaving a small portion dry despite the circumstances, she started a fire, roasted the rabbits, and tossed one to Oyonku while tearing off a hind leg from the other to feed her master. Hong Qigong, suffering from both snake venom and a palm strike, had been in a dazed state. Suddenly, catching the aroma of roasted meat, his spirits lifted, and he eagerly chomped down on the meat as soon as it reached his mouth. After finishing one leg, he gestured for more. Hongrong was overjoyed and fed him another leg. Halfway through eating it, Hong Qigong grew weak again, holding a piece of meat in his mouth as he drifted to a deep sleep. Hongrong barely ate 2 pieces of rabbit meat herself. Thinking of Guo Jing's fate, lost to the vast ocean, sorrow filled her heart, and she could eat no more. As night fell, she found a cave and helped her master inside. Oyonku came over to assist, clearing the filth, laying down grass and gently settling Hong Qigong. He also prepared sleeping spots for the 3 of them. Yeah, is his next to her? Hongrong watched his actions coldly, without a word. Once he finished arranging everything, Oyonku stretched lazily and looked ready to lie down. Suddenly, Hongrong drew her steel dart and shouted, "Get out!" Imagine the things he can do with both arms. Oh. Oyonku smiled. "Sleeping here won't disturb you. Why so fierce?" Hongrong's delicate brows furrowed. "Are you leaving or not?" Still smiling, Oyonku replied, "I'll sleep quietly, don't worry. But leaving? That's unnecessary." Hongrong picked up a burning branch and set fire to the dry grass he had laid out. Flames quickly consumed the bedding, leaving nothing but ash. Oyonku chuckled bitterly and had no choice but to leave the cave. Fearing the island might have venomous creatures or wild beasts, he climbed a tall tree for shelter. Throughout the night, he climbed up and down the tree dozens of times. Seeing the fire burning steadily at the cave entrance, he could vaguely make out Hongrong sleeping soundly inside. Many times he considered forcing his way in, but always hesitated. He cursed himself for being cowardly and useless, wondering how he, who had committed countless exploits in the past, could now be so intimidated by a mere girl. Despite his broken arm, he could easily handle her with one hand, especially since Hong Qigong was critically injured. But each time he approached the fire, he retreated, trembling. Hong Rong, too, dared not sleep deeply that night. She feared Ouyang-ke might attack, and worried about changes in Hong Qigong's condition. Only as dawn broke did she relax enough to sleep for an hour. In her sleep, she was startled awake by her master's groaning. "Ugh." "Master, how are you?" she asked anxiously. He seems more competent with one arm, maybe. Hong Qigong moved his teeth as if to chew and pointed to his mouth. Hong Rong smiled, tore off some of the leftover rabbit meat, and fed him. As the meat entered his stomach, his vitality surged. Slowly, he sat up and began regulating his breathing. Hong Rong watched him intently, not daring to interrupt. She saw his face flush red before turning pale. The cycle of red to white repeated several times until heat rose from his head. Sweat poured down his forehead, and his entire body trembled violently. Suddenly, a shadow appeared at the cave entrance. Ouyang-ke peeked inside. Hong Rong knew her master was at a critical moment, using advanced inner power to heal himself. If Ouyang-ke barged in and disrupted him, it would spell certain doom. She hissed quietly, "Get out!" Ouyang-ke grinned. "We need to discuss how to survive on this island. There's a long road ahead of us." He began walking into the cave. Hong Qigong opened his eyes slightly and asked, "Is this a deserted island?" "Master, focus on your recovery. Don't mind him," Hong Rong replied. She turned to Ouyang-ke. "Come with me. We'll talk outside." Ouyang-ke was delighted and followed her out of the cave. The day was bright and sunny. Hong Rong looked out over the horizon, seeing the vast ocean meet the blue sky. A few idle clouds drifted far away, and there was no sign of land. She returned to where they had landed the day before and was startled. "Where's the boat?" she demanded. "Eh? Where did it go?" "The tide must have taken it," Ouyang-ke replied, feigning surprise. "Oh no, how terrible." Hong Rong scrutinized his expression and immediately guessed that he had pushed the boat out to sea during the night to prevent her from leaving. Why in the world would he do that? He probably just hid the boat somewhere, right? His despicable intentions were all too clear. Guojing was gone, and Hong Rong herself had already lost the will to live. Even if they had the boat, its small size and the rough seas made survival unlikely. But now, with their situation dire, and her master still injured, she knew she couldn't wait to heal him fully before dealing with Ouyang-ke. She stared at him silently, thinking about how to kill him and save her master. Ouyang-ke, unable to meet her gaze, lowered his head. Hong Rong leaped onto a large rock by the shore, hugged her knees, and gazed into the distance. Ouyang-ke thought to himself, "If I don't take this chance to get closer to her, when will I?" He leaped up onto the rock and sat next to Hong Rong. After a while, seeing that she neither got angry nor moved away, he scooted a little closer. Is he gonna fall for this trick every single time? In a soft voice, he said, "Sister, the two of us, living out our days here together, is like the life of immortals. I must have done something extraordinary in my past life to deserve this." Hong Rong giggled and said, "Sorry, that was my giggle. But with only 3 people on this island, including my master, won't it get lonely?" Ouyang-ke, hearing her gentle tone, was elated. With me by your side, how could you feel lonely? And when we have children in the future, it'll be even more lively. Yeah, this guy is really in love, huh? He just wants to spend the rest of his life with her on this island. It's kind of romantic. Hong Rong laughed. Ha ha ha! Who's going to have children? I wouldn't know how. I'll teach you, Ouyang-ke replied with a grin, reaching out with his left arm to embrace her. Suddenly, he felt warmth in his left palm. It was Hong Rong's hand holding his. Ouyang-ke's heart raced wildly, leaving him dazed. Hong Rong's left hand moved slowly upward, pressing down on the pulse point of his wrist. In a low voice, she asked, Some people say that Sister Muniansu's chastity was ruined by you. Is that true? Ouyang-ke laughed heartily. Ha 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 ha! That Mu girl didn't know what was good for her and refused to follow me. But I, Ouyang-ke, am not the kind of man who forces women. Hong Rong sighed. Hey, so people must have falsely accused her. Sister Mu's lover had a huge fight with her over this. Ouyang-ke smirked. That kid got a bad reputation for nothing. Such a pity. Hong Rong suddenly pointed to the sea and exclaimed, Hey, what's that? Always works, guys. 100% of the time. Hey, what's that? Ouyang-ke followed her finger to look at the water, seeing nothing unusual. Just as he was about to ask, he felt a sudden tightening on his left wrist. Hong Rong's 5 fingers had locked onto his pulse point, paralyzing half of his body and rendering him immobile. In one swift motion, she raised her steel dart with her right hand and stabbed backward towards his abdomen. The two were so close, and Ouyang-ke was utterly distracted, his mind a whirlwind. Adding to this, his right arm was still recovering from a fracture, leaving him defenseless. However, his years of rigorous training weren't for nothing. In this critical moment, he lunged forward, using his chest to slam into Hong Rong's back. Hong Rong stumbled off the rock, but her dart managed to slash a gash on his right thigh, a cut over an inch deep and nearly a foot long. Okay. I think this is a good time for a break. That was pretty good. That was a good chapter. All right. 5 minutes. I'll be right back. And we back. Zhou Botong really just vanished? Yeah. Where is he? What's he doing? Is he just casually swimming back to shore? He found a shark, and he's riding the shark to shore. All right, so she cut him on the thigh. Ouyang-ke jumped down from the rock and saw Hong Rong standing there, her steel dart held in reverse, smiling sweetly. His chest throbbed with pain. He looked down to see blood dripping from his shirt. It was only then that he realized her soft armor had pierced his chest with countless tiny spikes during his collision. Hong Rong scolded playfully. We were having a nice chat. Why did you randomly bump into me? I'm not talking to you anymore. She turned and walked away. Ouyang-ke was left in a mix of love, hatred, surprise, and joy. His emotions tangled beyond words. He stood there speechless, stunned. Hong Rong returned to the cave, filled with regret that her skills weren't sharp enough to seize the perfect opportunity and eliminate him. Entering the cave, she saw that Hong Qigong had collapsed. A pool of black blood was on the ground where he had vomited. Alarmed, she knelt beside him and asked, Master, how are you? Are you feeling any better? Hong Qigong weakly gasped, I want some wine. Hong Rong was flustered. On this deserted island, where could she find wine? I'll think of something, Master. Don't worry about it. she promised, her voice breaking. Tears streamed down her face. Despite all the turmoil, she hadn't cried until now. Once the tears started, they wouldn't stop. She buried her face in Hong Qigong's chest and sobbed uncontrollably. Hong Qigong awkwardly patted her head with one hand and her back with the other, gently comforting her. Despite his rough, worldly nature and years of mingling with heroes, he had no experience dealing with emotional women or children. Flustered, he could only repeat, "Good child. Don't cry. Your master loves you. Be good and stop crying. Master won't ask for wine anymore." Hongrong cried until her emotions eased slightly. When she raised her head, she saw that Hong Qigong's chest was soaked with her tears. She smiled faintly, brushed back her hair, and said, "It's such a pity I didn't kill that scoundrel earlier." She recounted what had happened on the rock. Hong Qigong remained silent for a long while before saying, "Your master is useless now. That scoundrel's martial arts are far superior to yours. You'll need to use wit, not force, to deal with him." Plot twist, she kills Ouyang-ke and marries Hong Qigong in the end? I really hope not. That would not be a direction that I would have expected. "But master," Hongrong said anxiously, "after you rest and recover, won't you be able to take his life with one strike?" Hong Qigong sighed bitterly. "Hey, I was bitten by a venomous snake and struck by Western poison's toadstance palm. I used all my inner strength to expel the snake venom, but it wasn't completely cleansed. Even if I can survive for a few more years, my lifelong martial arts are gone. Your master is now just a useless old man without even a shred of skill left." Oh no! He lost all his martial arts. Oh. Bells for his martial arts. "No! No!" Hongrong cried. "Master, you can't be like this. You won't be like this." Hong Qigong smiled faintly. "This old beggar's heart may be strong, but when the time comes, I must accept reality." He paused, his expression turning solemn. "Child, your master has no choice but to ask you to do something extremely difficult and against your nature. Can you take it on?" "I can," Hongrong said quickly. "Master, just tell me." Hong Qigong sighed. "Hey, we've been master and disciple for such a short time. I haven't had the chance to teach you much. Now I'm burdening you with a heavy responsibility, and it weighs heavily on my heart." Seeing her master, normally so bold and carefree, speaking hesitantly, Hongrong knew the master must be of utmost importance and difficulty. "Master, please tell me. You suffered these injuries because of me, for coming to Peach Blossom Island. Even if I were to die 100 times, I could never repay your kindness. I only fear that I'm too young and might fail your expectations." Hong Qigong's face lit up with joy. "So, you'll agree?" "Yes," Hongrong replied. "Please, master, tell me what to do." Hong Qigong shakily stood up, crossed his hands over his chest, and bowed towards the north. He solemnly said, "Founder of the Beggar Clan, you established this great organization. It has now fallen into my hands, but I am without virtue or ability, and have failed to bring glory to our clan. Today, in this time of crisis, I have no choice but to relinquish this responsibility. I beg for your spirits' blessing to protect this child, helping her overcome dangers and create blessings for the suffering brothers of our clan all across the world. With that, he bowed again. Oh shit! Oh shit is right. Hongrong listened in stunned silence at first, but as she heard more, her surprise and confusion grew. Martial people like to ask people to agree before they tell them what's their wish. True. Hong Qigong said, "Child, kneel down." Hongrong obeyed, kneeling as instructed. Hong Qigong picked up the green bamboo staff beside him, raised it high above his head, bowed, and handed it to her. Hongrong was overwhelmed with confusion and asked, "Master, are you asking me to be the leader of the... Hong Qigong said, "Exactly. I am the 18th leader of the beggar clan. Now that I pass it on to you, you are the 19th leader. Let us now thank our founder." Hongrong, though still baffled, dared not disobey. She mimicked Hong Qigong's posture, clasping her hands over her chest and bowing toward the north. Suddenly, Hong Qigong coughed and spat a thick glob of phlegm. I don't want to do that. Which landed on the edge of Hongrong's garment. Hongrong felt deeply saddened, thinking, "Oh, is this the part of the ritual? Master's injuries must be severe. He doesn't even have the strength to spit properly." She pretended not to notice and dared not wipe it away. Hong Qigong sighed. "When the beggars formally acknowledge you as their leader in the future, there will inevitably be some dirty business involved. It might be hard for you to bear." Is she a beggar now? Yep. That's part of the initiation ritual. She has to be going around begging for a year. Might be fun. Hongrong smiled faintly, thinking, "Begging is naturally messy and filthy. What's there to worry about? Dirty things are in abundance." Hong Qigong let out a long breath, his face showing exhaustion. But now that a great burden had been lifted from his heart, his expression carried a trace of happiness. Hongrong helped him lie down. Hong Qigong said, "Now that you are the leader, I am but an elder in the clan. Although elders are respected by the leader, when it comes to clan matters, we must follow the leader's orders. This is the rule passed down by our founder, never to be violated. Once the leader gives a command, beggars across the land must obey." Hongrong felt both troubled and anxious. On this deserted island, who knows how many years it will take to return to civilization? And with Brother Jing gone, I have no desire to live anymore. Why would Master suddenly make me the leader of all the beggars in the world? This is too much to bear. Is he also saving her life? However, seeing her master's grave condition, she dared not let her thoughts add to his worries. Whatever he instructed, she could only agree. Hong Qigong continued. On July 15th this year, the 4 elders of the clan and the leaders of various branches will gather at Yueyang City by Dongting Lake. Originally, it was to hear me announce the next leader. Once you bring this staff there, the brothers will understand my decision. The affairs of the clan will be assisted by the 4 elders, so I don't need to say more. It is only a pity that I'm placing a well-bred young girl into a dirty group of beggars. It truly wrongs you. Oh, Psyduck, you're right. She was pretending to be a beggar when we met her. She knows how to do it. He laughed heartily. But the laughter aggravated his injuries, causing him to cough uncontrollably. Wait. Hongrong gently massaged his back, and it took him a long time to calm down. Hong Qigong sighed. Hey, this old beggar is truly useless now. Who knows how much time I have left? I must quickly teach you the dog-beating staff technique. Hongrong thought to herself, what an awful name for a martial art. Even the fiercest dog could be killed with one punch. Why bother creating a whole staff technique for this? But seeing her master speak with such seriousness, she could only nod in agreement. Hong Qigong smiled. Even though you're now the leader, you don't have to change your nature. If you like to play around and cause mischief, then keep doing so. We beggars seek freedom and joy in our lives. If we can't have that, then why not just become officials or wealthy landowners? You look down on the beating staff technique. Why don't you just say it outright? Hongrong laughed. I was just thinking, how fierce can a dog possibly be? Why go through all this trouble to create a staff technique for it? Hong Qigong said, now that you're the leader of the beggars, you must think like a beggar. With your fine clothes and the demeanor of a wealthy young lady, any dog would wag its tail and fawn over you. Why would you ever need to strike it? But for a poor beggar, encountering a vicious dog can be tragic. There's an old saying, a poor man without a staff is at the mercy of dogs. You've never been poor, so you don't understand their suffering. Hongrong clapped her hands and laughed. This time, master, you're wrong. Hong Qigong was startled. How so? Last March, I ran away from Peach Blossom Island and traveled to the north, disguised as a little beggar. Along the way, some mean dogs tried to bite me, but I kicked their butts, and they ran off with their tails between their legs, Hongrong said with a grin. Hong Qigong replied, Sure, but what if the dog is too fierce and you can't kick it? Then you'll need a staff to deal with it. Hongrong pondered aloud. What kind of dog would be that fierce? Suddenly, she understood and exclaimed, I get it. Evil people are like vicious dogs. Hong Qigong smiled. You're truly clever. If it were... He trailed off, thinking about Guojing. A pang of sorrow stopped him from finishing his sentence. Hongrong noticed his expression and immediately understood his thoughts. A surge of grief overwhelmed her chest. If it had been any other time, she would have broken down and cried. But now her master relied entirely on her care, and she felt as though their roles had reversed. She had become the adult, while he was like a helpless child. With the heavy burden placed on her shoulders, she forced herself to hold back her tears. Turning her head away, she couldn't stop the tears from silently streaming down her face. Hong Qigong's heart was as weighed down with sorrow as Hongrong's. Knowing that words of comfort would be futile, he chose to focus on urgent matters. He said, The 36 techniques of the dog-beating staff were created by our clan's founder. They have always been passed down from one leader to the next, and never taught to anyone else. The third leader of our clan, was an exceptional martial artist, even surpassing the founder. He added countless ingenious variation to these techniques. For centuries, during times of crisis, the clan leader has used this staff technique to eliminate traitors, defeat enemies, and awe the unrighteous. Hongrong couldn't help but feel captivated by his words. She sighed softly and asked, Master, when you were fighting Western Venom on the ship, why didn't you use this technique? Hong Qigong replied, Using this staff technique is a significant matter for our clan. Besides, even without it, Western Venom wouldn't necessarily have defeated me. Who would have thought he would stoop so low? I saved his life, yet he attacked me from behind. His face darkened at the memory. Hongrong quickly sought to distract him and said, Master, teach me the staff technique. I'll kill Western Venom and avenge you. Hong Qigong gave a faint smile, picked up a dried branch from the ground, leaned against the rock wall, and began instructing her on the 36 techniques. His movements demonstrated each strike, and his words detailed the secrets behind them. He knew Hongrong was exceptionally intelligent, and feared he wouldn't have much time left, so he taught her everything in one go. The dog-beating staff technique, though named unrefinedly, was incredibly intricate and filled with ingenious moves. It was one of the highest forms of martial arts ever created. Otherwise, how could it have become the Beggar Clan's treasured technique, passed down through generations? Despite Hongrong's remarkable intelligence, she could only grasp the broad strokes at the moment. The profound subtleties were beyond her immediate comprehension. After finishing, Hong Qigong sighed, sweat streaming down his face. I've taught it too hastily. This is not ideal, but there's no other way. With a groan, his body tilted, and he collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Hongrong was horrified. She cried out, Master! Master! And rushed to support him, finding his limbs icy cold and his breathing faint. It was clear his condition was critical. In the past few days, Hongrong had endured one calamity after another, and she leaned against her master's chest, and she couldn't even muster tears. She felt his faint heartbeat, and immediately pressed her palm to his chest, pushing and releasing him to help him breathe. In this desperate moment, she suddenly felt a light touch on her wrist. A hand reached over, startling her. Focused entirely on saving her master, she hadn't realized when Ouyang-ke had entered. Forgetting the danger, she turned to him and said, Master's condition is dire. Think of a way to save him. Does he save him? Oh my god. Ouyang-ke was momentarily stunned. Seeing her tearful eyes filled with plea and her pitiful expression, his heart wavered. He leaned over to inspect Hong Qigong and saw his pale face and upturned eyes. His heart secretly rejoiced. Standing next than half a foot from her, he caught the scent of her skin and felt her soft hair brush against his face. Overcome by desire, he could no longer resist it. He extended his left arm, attempting to embrace her slender waist. Hongrong was startled. She dropped her elbow and struck backward, forcing him to turn his head to dodge as she leaped to her feet. Ouyang-ke had always feared Hong Qigong's prowess and didn't dare to act forcefully towards Hongrong. But now, seeing Hong Qigong on the brink of death, his fear dissipated. Blocking the cave entrance, he smiled and said, Dear girl, I would never harm anyone else, but your beauty is unbearable. Let me kiss you just once. He opened his arms and stepped forward. Hongrong's heart raced with fear. Today's danger far surpasses the Zhao Palace incident. It seems there's no choice but to end my own life. But I can't die without taking this scoundrel with me. She flipped her hand, gripping her steel needle and dagger tightly. Ouyang-ke smiled, removed his outer robe, and wielded it like a weapon as he stepped closer. Hong Rong stood motionless, waiting for him to take another step. The moment his foot lifted, but hadn't yet touched the ground, she darted to the left like an arrow. Ouyangke pursued swiftly, and Hong Rong raised her left hand. As he swung his robe to block the steel needles, she darted towards the cave entrance. Despite her speed, Ouyangke was faster. She felt the rush of wind from his palm behind her, aimed at her back. Though protected by her soft armor, Hong Rong was already prepared to die and cared not for her own safety. She turned and thrust her dagger toward his chest. Ouyangke, unwilling to harm her, had only feigned the palm strike. He deflected her dagger with a light parry, and, with a fluid turn, once again blocked her escape, forcing her back into the cave. But the cave's narrow entrance restricted movement. Hong Rong's relentless, desperate attacks grew fiercer. Focused solely on offense, her martial prowess seemed to double. Although Ouyangke's skill surpassed her significantly, his reluctance to hurt her left him constantly hindered and unable to fight effectively. As they exchanged around 50 or 60 moves, Hong Rong found herself repeatedly in danger. Her martial arts had been personally taught by her father, while Ouyangke was trained by his uncle. Although Huang Yaoxi and Ouyang Feng's skills were evenly matched, Hong Rong was only 15 years old, while Ouyangke was over 30. Their time spent training differed by almost 20 years. This motherfucker is over 30. Moreover, the physical differences between men and women were evident, and Hong Rong had never practiced her skills as diligently as Ouyangke. Despite being injured, Ouyangke had held a significant advantage. During their intense fight, Hong Rong suddenly leaped forward and threw a steel needle backward. Ouyangke deflected it with his robe. Hong Rong then darted upward and thrust her steel dagger toward his right shoulder. With his right arm broken and unable to exert force, Ouyangke raised his left arm to block, but Hong Rong deftly twisted her weapon mid-strike and redirected it, driving it into his injured arm with a sickening thud. Just as she felt a moment of triumph, a sudden numbness overcame her wrist, and the dagger clattered to the ground. Her pressure point had been struck. Oh no. He immobilized her. Ouyangke was incredibly fast, and as Hong Rong tried to escape, he extended his left arm and struck the Xuanzhong and Zhongdu pressure points on her legs. After taking 2 steps, she fell flat on her face. Ouyangke leapt forward, quickly placing his robe on the ground beneath her. Smiling, he said, "Oh dear, careful not to hurt yourself." Hong Rong flung a handful of steel needles behind her to fend him off and attempted to leap up to her feet. However, her legs had gone completely numb and refused to obey her. She barely rose a foot off the ground before collapsing again. Ouyangke extended his hand to help her up, but Hong Rong's left hand struck out instinctively. Unfortunately, her panic had left her punch weak and ineffectual. Ouyangke easily deflected it and sealed the pressure point on her left wrist, leaving her limbs entirely paralyzed. Hong Rong now lay motionless, as if bound by ropes. She bitterly regretted her earlier hesitation. "I should have ended my own life with that dagger. Now even dying is beyond my reach." Her heart burned with anguish, and darkness enveloped her as she fainted. Ouyangke gently consoled her. Don't be afraid, and reached out to embrace her. Suddenly, a cold voice came from above. "Do you want to live or die?" Ouyangke was shocked and spun around. There, at the entrance of the cave, stood Hong Qigong, leaning on his staff, staring coldly. Ouyangke's heart nearly stopped. The tale his uncle had told of Wang Chongyang pretending to rise from the dead and killing his foes flashed through his mind. He thought, the old beggar was faking it. Today is the end of me. Having experienced Hong Qigong's might firsthand, he knew he was no match. In a panic, he dropped to his knees and stammered, I I was just playing around with Miss Huang. I meant no harm. Please, Uncle Hong, don't be angry. Hong Jigong snorted and scolded. You little thief. Unseal her pressure points immediately. Or do you want this old beggar to act? Ouyang-ke hastily agreed, freeing Hong Rong's limbs as ordered. Hong Jigong growled. Step into this cave again, and you'll see how merciless I can be. Now get out! He shifted aside, allowing Ouyang-ke to flee without a moment's hesitation. When Hong Rong regained consciousness, it felt like waking from a dream. She turned to see Hong Jigong collapse, his strength utterly spent. Overwhelmed with mixed emotions, she rushed to his side and saw blood pouring from his mouth, along with 3 broken front teeth. She grieved silently. Master, once unparalleled in the martial world, now falls so heavily that even his teeth are shattered. Aw. Hong Jigong held the teeth in his palm, chuckling weakly. Ah, my teeth, you've served me well, tasting the finest delicacy under heaven. It seems my days are numbered, and you've decided to leave me first. His injuries were indeed grave. The snake's venom was potent, and Ouyang Feng's palm strike had left his back muscles and tendons in tatters. Were it not for his deep martial foundation, he would have died on the spot. Though alive, he had lost all his internal strength and was now weaker than an ordinary person. When Hong Rong had been immobilized, Hong Jigong had no strength to unseal her points. It was only through the lingering aura of his past reputation that he had forced Ouyang-ke to comply. Seeing Hong Rong's distressed expression, he tried to console her. Oh, don't worry. This old beggar's name still carries weight. That scoundrel won't dare bother you again. Hong Rong thought to herself. As long as I stay in this cave, he won't return. But how will we find food and water? Normally clever, her recent brush with the danger had left her flustered and unable to think straight. Hong Jigong noticed her pensive expression and asked, Are you figuring out how to find food? She nodded. Hong Jigong said, Take me to the beach to bask in the sun. Realizing his intention, she clapped her hands and said, Great, we'll catch some fish to eat. Supporting him on her shoulder, she slowly made her way to the shore. The day was bright and clear. The ocean stretched out endlessly, like a shimmering blue satin sheet, trembling softly in the breeze. Hong Rong thought, If this were truly a vast piece of silk, how delightful it would feel to touch its smooth, warm surface. Bathed in sunlight, they both felt invigorated. Ouyang-ke stood by a distant rock, watching Hong Rong and Hong Jigong emerge. He immediately retreated more than 10 meters, stopping only when he saw they weren't pursuing him, and fixed his gaze on them without blinking. Though Hong Jigong and Hong Rong worried inwardly, this scoundrel is incredibly cunning. If we delay too long, he'll surely discover our weakness. But there was no time to dwell on it now. Hong Jigong leaned against the rock to rest, while Hong Rong fashioned a fishing rod from a tree branch, used a strip of bark as a line, and bent one of her steel needles into a hook. She baited it with small crabs and shrimp gathered from the beach. The sea teemed with life, and before long she caught 3 large patterned fish, each weighing about 1 kilogram. Hong Rong cooked the fish using a beggar's chicken technique, and shared a hearty meal with her master. After a rest, Hong Jigong asked Hong Rong to practice the dog-beating stick technique he had taught her, while he leaned against the rock and offered guidance. Hong Rong began to understand more of its subtle transformations and the balance between attack and defense. By evening, after hours of practice, Hong Rong felt overheated. She stripped off her outer garments and plunged into the sea for a swim, diving and darting through the crystal waves. As she moved, a fanciful thought struck her. They say there's a dragon palace at the bottom of the sea, and the Dragon King's daughter is stunningly beautiful. Could Brother Jing have gone to the dragon palace? She couldn't resist diving deeper, repeatedly submerging herself. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through her left ankle. She reflexively pulled her foot back, but found it caught firmly. Something had clamped down, and she couldn't lift it. Growing up by the sea, Hongrong immediately guessed it was a giant clam. What? Really? Really? Though startled, she wasn't panicked. She reached down and touched the shell. To her shock, the clam was as large as a small table, far bigger than anything she'd ever seen near Peach Blossom Island. She used both hands to pry the shell open with all her strength, but the clam was incredibly powerful. Instead of budging, it clamped down tighter, causing her foot to ache even more. Using her hands to push against the water, Hongrong tried to bring the clam to the surface to figure out a solution. But the giant clam, weighing around 200 to 300 pounds, was deeply embedded in the coral. Having grown there for years, it wouldn't budge. She struggled for a while, but the pain in her ankle grew unbearable, and she accidentally swallowed 2 gulps of seawater. Desperate, she thought, I didn't want to live anyway, but I can't leave Master alone on this deserted island to be tormented by that scoundrel. If I die now, I won't be at peace. In her panic, she picked up a large stone and began striking the clam's shell. But the shell was thick and sturdy, and underwater her strength was limited. After several strikes, the shell remained unmoved. Worse, the blows only made the clam clamp down harder, intensifying her pain. Gasping for air, this poor clam, what did it do? It was just sitting there. Gasping for air, she suddenly remembered something. Dropping the stone, she grabbed a handful of fine sand and tossed it into the clam's opening. Clams and mollusks are most sensitive to fine particles. Feeling the sand irritate its interior, the clam instinctively began to open its shell to expel the grit. Did it sneeze? As soon as Hongrong felt her ankle loosen, she pulled free, using her arms and legs to propel herself to the surface. She broke through the waves and took a deep breath. From the shore, Hong Qigong had been anxiously watching her stay submerged for so long. He knew she must have encountered trouble underwater and wanted to go to her aid, but his injuries left him barely able to walk, let alone swim. Seeing her resurface, he let out a cheer of relief. Hongrong waved to him reassuringly before diving back down. This time, she approached the clam more cautiously, stopping about 2 feet away. She gripped its shell and began shaking it back and forth, gradually loosening the clam's bond with the coral. After some effort, she managed to pry the enormous clam free and pushed it towards the shallow water near the beach. Once half of its body was out of the water, its weight increased significantly. Unable to lift it, she fetched a large rock from the shore and smashed the clam's shell to pieces, finally venting her frustration. Looking down at her ankle, she saw a deep gash where the clam had clamped her. Thinking back to the danger she'd just escaped, she couldn't help but shudder. That evening, the master and disciple dined on clam meat. The taste was exceptionally fresh and delicious. Yay! A nice final meal for the master. The next morning, Hong Qigong awoke feeling significantly better. He took a few deep breaths and felt his chest and stomach respond more easily. Surprised, he murmured, Hongrong sat up quickly and asked, Master, what's wrong? Hong Qigong replied, After sleeping, my injuries seem to have improved greatly. Overjoyed, Hongrong exclaimed, It must be that the clam meat heals injuries. Hong Qigong chuckled. Clam meat can't heal wounds, but its flavor certainly lifted your master's spirits. When my appetite recovers, my injuries naturally follow. Hongrong laughed and dashed out of the cave to gather more of the leftover clam meat from the beach. In her excitement, she forgot to stay vigilant. Just as she was cutting off 2 large pieces of clam meat, a shadow loomed behind her, slowly approaching. Sensing the figure, Hongrong quickly grabbed a handful of clamshell fragments and threw them behind her while leaping a yard away to the water's edge. Ouyang-ke, who had been observing from afar, was becoming increasingly suspicious as he watched Hong Qigong. Believing the old beggar's injuries to be severe and that he couldn't walk, he finally summoned the courage to approach. Smiling, he said, "Good sister, don't run away. I just want to talk." Hongrong retorted, "If someone ignores you, yet you keep pestering them, aren't you ashamed?" And she mimed wiping her face mockingly, as if to clean away his shame. Ouyang-ke saw Hongrong's playful demeanor, her face showing no fear, and couldn't help but feel his heart itch with desire. He stepped closer and smiled. "This is all your fault. Who told you to be so beautiful? It makes it impossible for me not to follow you around." Hongrong laughed lightly. "Ha ha ha! I've already told you I won't pay attention to you, no matter how much you flatter me. It's useless." Ouyang-ke stepped closer again and said with a smirk, "I don't believe you. I want to test it out." Hongrong's expression darkened and she warned, "If you take one more step, I'll call my master to deal with you." Ouyang-ke laughed. "Ha ha ha ha! Oh, come on. The old beggar can barely move. How about I carry him out for you? Would you like that?" Hongrong felt a chill run down her spine and stepped back twice. Ouyang-ke chuckled. "Ha ha ha! Go ahead. Jump into the sea if you want. I'll just wait here on the shore. Let's see if you can stay in the water longer. Then I can wait here." Hongrong yelled, "Fine. If you bully me, I'll never speak to you again." She turned and ran, but after just a few steps, she stumbled over a rock and fell to the ground with a cry. "Ah!" Ouyang-ke, suspecting a trick, smirked. "The more mischievous you are, the more I like it." He removed his long robe and held it in his hand, ready to defend against her steel needles, then approached slowly. "Don't come any closer!" Hongrong shouted, struggling to stand. After walking 3 steps, she fell again, this time heavily, with her upper body landing in the water, as if she had fainted. For a long while, she didn't move. Ouyang-ke thought to himself, "This girl is full of tricks. I'm not falling for this. How could someone with her skills suddenly fall and pass out for no reason?" He stopped and carefully observed her. After a tease time, she still hadn't moved. From her head to her chest, she was submerged in the water. Ouyang-ke started to worry. Could she really have fainted? If I don't save her, she'll drown. He rushed forward and grabbed her leg to pull her up. Would it be too mean to stop here? Give you a little bit of a cliffhanger? Huh? Alright, we can stop. Alright. That was a good-ass chapter. I liked it. We still don't know where Jobo Tong is. Okay. What's going on with him? Still swimming with the fishes. So obviously Ouyang Feng and Guo Jing are still alive. What are they doing now? He was eaten by the clam. Yeah, where's Guo Jing and Ouyang Feng? What are they washed up on shore of the same island, but just on the other side? That'll be funny. Ouyang-ke is gross, very gross. Yeah, a lot of fighting in this one. Oh, that was so sad. Freaking the master no longer has his martial arts. What the fuck? That's a huge fall, okay? Going from like the top, one of the best fighters, to now weaker than just an ordinary old man. Ah, devastating. Think of how he must feel. And then we don't know how long he has left to live. Couple of years, hopefully. Crossing fingers. I have a feeling he's gonna die soon, but I don't know. I hope not. That clam was a martial hero in the sea. Yeah, was it? It could defeat Jobotong. It should be the #1 martial artist. Should compete in the Huashan tournament. Oh yeah, that Hong Rong became the master of the leader of the beggar clan. Yay! It's gonna be kind of weird. She's gonna come back to the beggars clan and she's gonna say like, "Oh yeah, if Hong Qigong dies, she's gonna be like, oh yeah, yeah, the previous leader made me the master. Okay, how are they going to react? How would she prove it? I guess she can practice the dog beating staff technique and then perform it in front of them, so they'll know that she's legit. Maybe. All right. Get some sake. All right. Cheers. You hope Hong Qigong will be able to see Oh Yongfeng practice the wrong 9-yin manual technique? Yeah, that'll be good before he dies. I agree. Yeah. But what if... Okay. Yeah, but what if he does practice it and he becomes better? Huh? That would not be a good gift. He would not die happy. He would be very disappointed. Yeah. That would be a one good scene, okay? I'm waiting for that scene. We don't know what's gonna happen. Alright, guys. I like that chapter. Yeah. And it seems like the rest of it is gonna be also pretty good. That's scary, but Guo Jing would be a secret genius. Oh, too bad. He wouldn't remember what he wrote, right? Guo Jing. Yeah, so he can't do it. He can't practice it. So Oh Young Feng would be the #1 martial artist. Thanks, that was fun. Uh-huh. All right. Well, can't wait for the next chapter. All right, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Okay, have fun. Drink a lot or eat a lot, whatever you want to do. And tune in next time. All right. I love you. I will see you next time. All right, guys. Next time will be before New Year's, right? Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Have fun. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Bye.